Modern borders, many of the lines that now appear natural on maps, were in fact political decisions made after mass destruction. After the First World War, entire empires ceased to exist, such as the German, Austro-Hungarian, and Ottoman empires. In their place, new countries emerged, often drawn without considering profound cultural or historical differences. These artificial borders created internal tensions that have not disappeared over time. In regions of Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and especially the Middle East, current conflicts still reflect these divisions made at the beginning of the 20th century. The world today, in this sense, continues to live within limits drawn by agreements made after wars that should have ended disputes but ended up creating others. International organizations. The need to avoid a new global disaster led to the creation of structures that organize dialogue between nations. After the First World War, the League of Nations emerged, which failed to prevent a new conflict. After the Second World War, the United Nations was born, with a more robust model and greater global participation. These institutions began to mediate crises, send peacekeeping missions, and establish international norms. Although they cannot always prevent conflicts, they define how countries relate to each other, negotiate, and resolve disputes. Today, a large part of diplomatic decisions pass through these organizations, showing how the attempt to avoid another world war has shaped global politics to this day. Global balance of power. The end of World War II brought not only peace, but also a new form of division of influence. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, creating a world divided into two ideological blocs. This period, known as the Cold War, established a logic of balance based on deterrence and indirect competition. Even after the Soviet collapse, this structure left deep marks. The way current powers position themselves, build alliances, and compete for influence follows patterns inherited from this period. The world still functions based on centers of power that balance each other, avoiding direct confrontations while competing in various areas. International economy. Post-war reconstruction required the creation of a new global economic system. Devastated countries needed resources, stability, and cooperation to rebuild. It was in this context that institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank emerged, along with agreements that facilitated international trade. This system helped integrate economies and avoid deep crises like those that contributed to world conflicts. To this day, financial rules, monetary policies, and trade relations follow structures created during that period, directly influencing the economic growth and stability of countries around the world. Technology and innovation. Wars accelerated technological development intensely and often urgently. The need to defeat the enemy spurred research in areas such as communication, transportation, and computing. Radar, for example, completely changed the way threats are detected, while the first computers emerged to decipher codes and calculate trajectories. After the war, these technologies were adapted for civilian use and became an essential part of modern life. The digital world, modern aviation, and even navigation systems have roots in advances made during global conflicts. Conflicts in the Middle East. The end of the Ottoman Empire opened the way for a territorial reorganization carried out by European powers. The division of the region was based on strategic interests, often ignoring local realities. This resulted in countries with fragile borders and diverse populations, which fueled internal and external disputes. Over the decades, these tensions have turned into persistent conflicts. The instability in the region cannot be understood without considering these decisions made after the First World War, which continue to influence global politics and security. Military industry. The world wars transformed arms production into a highly developed and strategic industry. countries realized that military capability was essential not only to win wars, but also to avoid attacks. This led to continuous investments in military technology and the creation of industrial complexes dedicated to defense. Today, this industry moves billions and influences political and economic decisions. The constant modernization of armaments shows that the legacy of wars is not only historical, but also present and active. Culture and collective memory. The marks left by wars have not disappeared with time. They remain alive in the memory of societies, transmitted through stories, monuments, and cultural productions. Films, books, and personal accounts keep these events present in the collective imagination. This memory influences how people perceive conflicts, governments, and even other countries. In many places, national identity has been shaped by experiences during wars, creating narratives that still affect political and social decisions. Military alliances. The need for collective security led to the formation of alliances that remain active to this day. During the Cold War, military blocs were created to guarantee mutual protection between allied countries. These alliances did not disappear with the end of tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union. On the contrary, they continue to play a central role in international politics. The existence of these agreements influences strategic decisions and can transform local conflicts into global issues. Decolonization. After World War II, weakened European powers were unable to maintain control over their colonies. This initiated a large-scale independence process in Africa and Asia. Although it represented freedom for many peoples, this process also brought challenges. New countries emerged with fragile political structures and borders inherited from the colonial period. These difficulties still impact the economic development and political stability of various regions. Nuclear weapons. The emergence of nuclear weapons completely changed the nature of war. For the first time, humanity had the capacity to cause destruction on a global scale in a matter of minutes. Since then, the existence of these weapons has created a balance based on fear. Countries with nuclear capabilities avoid direct confrontations, knowing that the consequences would be devastating for all sides. This factor remains one of the main elements shaping international politics. International political system. Wars have helped consolidate models of government and define how countries organize themselves internally. Liberal democracies and authoritarian regimes have strengthened in different contexts, creating a scenario of ideological competition. This dispute has influenced alliances, conflicts, and internal policies throughout the 20th century and continues to be present today. The way governments make decisions, deal with crises, and relate to other countries still reflects structures established after world conflicts. Reconstruction of Europe. After the devastation of World War II, European countries needed to rebuild almost from scratch. Entire cities were destroyed, economies collapsed, and millions of people displaced. To avoid new conflicts and ensure stability, a joint reconstruction effort emerged that also encouraged cooperation between nations. This process eventually led to the creation of economic and political blocs that evolved over time. European integration, which today seems natural, was born from the need to prevent similar tragedies from happening again. Globalization. Today's connected world has its roots in the post-war period. The need for economic and political cooperation encouraged increased international trade and interdependence between countries. Over time, this evolved into a global system where economies, cultures, and technologies are deeply interconnected. This process brought growth, but also new challenges, such as inequalities and crises that spread rapidly between countries. Technological race. The competition between superpowers after World War II was not limited to the military field. It extended to areas such as science, space, and innovation. The space race, for example, was a direct reflection of this rivalry. This drive led to advances that are now part of everyday life, from satellites to medical technologies. The pursuit of technological superiority remains a direct legacy of this period. Cultural influence. Wars also shaped global culture in subtle but profound ways. Narratives of heroism, suffering, and resistance became part of the identity of many countries. Furthermore, victorious powers expanded their cultural influence through films, music, and media. This process helped spread values, lifestyles, and even languages around the world, creating a global culture influenced by past events. International security. The modern concept of security emerged directly from the traumatic experiences of the world wars. Countries began investing not only in military defense, but also in intelligence, diplomacy, and international cooperation. Today, threats are addressed more broadly, including terrorism, cyber attacks, and humanitarian crises. Even so, the foundation of this system is still linked to the lessons learned during the greatest conflicts in history. Human rights. The atrocities committed during World War II led to the creation of international norms to protect individuals. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights emerged as an attempt to prevent similar abuses from happening again. These principles have influenced laws, public policies, and judicial decisions worldwide. Although not always respected, they remain a fundamental reference for global society. Global migrations. Wars caused massive population displacements, creating migratory flows that redefined entire countries. Refugees, survivors, and workers spread across the world in search of new opportunities. This movement contributed to the cultural diversity of many nations, but also generated social and political challenges. To this day, migratory crises have roots in conflicts and instabilities that began in that period. Propaganda and information. During wars, controlling information became a strategic tool. Governments invested in propaganda to influence public opinion and maintain popular support. This model has evolved over time and is now present in political campaigns, social media, and ideological disputes. The way information is used and manipulated still carries traces of this past. Psychological impact. Wars left deep marks not only on territories but also on people. Soldiers and civilians face traumas that have been studied and recognized over time. Understanding mental health has advanced from these experiences, influencing treatments and public policies. Even today, the psychological effects of conflict remain a global concern. Urbanization and reconstruction. Many cities destroyed during the wars were rebuilt with new urban plans. This led to the development of modern infrastructure, transportation systems, and functional architecture. Some of the world's largest cities still bear the marks of this reconstruction, reflecting how destruction ended up shaping urban growth. International trade. The global trade system was profoundly reorganized after the wars. Trade barriers were reduced and agreements were created to facilitate exchanges between countries. This model helped boost economic growth and global integration. Today, production and distribution chains depend on this structure, showing how decisions made in the post-war period still influence the world economy. Science and medicine. Conflicts accelerated advances in medicine, from emergency treatments to more efficient surgeries. The need to save lives in extreme conditions led to discoveries that were later applied to civilian life. Vaccines, antibiotics, and modern medical techniques owe part of their evolution to this period. Education and historical knowledge. Wars have come to occupy a central space in education. in many countries. Studying these events has become essential to understanding the modern world and avoiding past mistakes. This appreciation of historical knowledge influences how new generations view politics, conflicts, and international cooperation. Influence on political decisions. Current leaders still make decisions based on lessons learned during the world wars. Military strategies, foreign policies, and international agreements are frequently guided by historical experiences. The past continues to be a constant reference, showing that wars are not just in the books, but remain present in the choices made today.